So ethics, principle governing the behavior, rules of conduct recognized and in respect to particular class of human action, systematic framework for determining right and wrong, distinguishing from morality, external standard, and the morality is internal belief, and the ethics is external standard. Human value, positive behavior toward other, universal principle, transcending cultural boundaries, foundation for harmonious social coexistence. Value hierarchy, constitutional value, then the constitutional value, democratic value, and then administrative value, then personal value. Then the lesson from the teaching of the great leaders and reform and administration. So determinants of ethics, so individual, so genetic predisposition, personal experience, educational upbringing, and religious and cultural background, and socio-economic environment. Societal level, cultural harmony and tradition, legal framework, institutional structure, historic experience, and economic conditions. Consequence of ethical behavior, harmonious social coexistence, social cohesion and harmony, and institutional credibility, sustainable development, conflict resolution, and trust building. Unethical corruption and malpractice, and institutional decay, and social discourse, asymmetry, and economic inefficiency, and loss of public trust. So now the important lesson from the life of teaching of great leaders. So the Chandragupta Maurya, 340 to 297 BC, administration efficiency, merit-based appointment, welfare state concept, intelligence network, Arthashastra principle. Then the Suga, 304 to 232 BC. Then the Dhamma-based governance, non-violence, religious tolerance, welfare administration, broke edit, common tool. Kautilya, Arthashastra, and the comprehensive administrative module, manual, and 7 pillar of state, Swami, Amatya, Janpad, Durga, Kosha, Danda, and Mitra. Democratic strategies, economic policies, administrative accountabilities. Then the Akbar, the great leader. So reform, so the Deen Ilahi, religious system, Surah Kul, universal peace, administration reform, Mansabdari, cultural integration, justice delivery system, religious synthesis, Guru Nanak, 1469 to 1539, social equity, religious harmony, service to humanity, seva, and trust and honesty, Satnam, and gender equality, advocacy. Then the Mahatma Gandhi, 1869 to 1948, Satyagraha, truth, force, methodology, Ahimsa, Sarvodaya, Swaraj, simple living, high thinking. Then the means justify the end, decentralized government, Gram Swaraj, trusteeship, and service before the self, and manual moral courage in decision making. Then this APJ Abdul Kalam, so 1931 to 2015, scientific temple, youth empowerment, education, innovation, and secular vision 2020 for develop India and Indianization of Muslim. Then Patel, 1875 to 50. So 1950. So administration, integration, pragmatic approach, unity in diversity, and strong leadership, and nation building vision. P. Sridharan, project management excellence, integrity in public work, and innovation in infrastructure, time bound delivery, cost effective solution. T.N. Session, electoral reform, institutional independence, a rule of law, and transparency measure. Then the public accountability, role of family. Primary Institute for Value Transmission Mechanism, Early Childhood Socialization, Behavior Modeling, Moral Storytelling, Religious Practice, Cultural Tradition, and Normative Rearing. Value imparted, honesty and truthfulness, respect for elder, compassion, hard work, and perseverance, social responsibility. Challenges, nuclear family and extended family, tech interaction, and the urbanization effect, and time constraint, and generation gap, and intergeneration equity, and the sustainable development. Social value inculcation, religious organization, community group, cultural association, neighborhood networks, and voluntary organization. Mechanism, peer influence, role model, social sanction, and community celebration, and collective abilities. Challenge, materialistic culture, individualism, and collectivism, and urban-rural divide, social media influence, and globalization impact. Then education, so curriculum integration, value-based education, character building program, model education, classification, and service learning initiative. Then the pedagogical approach, experiential learning, case study methods, and role play experience, community service project, and mentorship program. National education policy, holistic development focus, character formation emphasis, local knowledge integration, and multidisciplinary approach, and life skill development. So the lead is cosmic order, so universal order for maintenance, and natural phenomena regulation, and sky earth firmness, and the solar movement, and water flow patterns, and the season cycle, and moral dimension, divine human harmony. Then this social standard establishment, and Varuna is a guardian deity, and Mitra is a co-regulator, and Aditya is a moral observer. Then the Adam remains of natural law adherence, cosmic order reflection, synthetic governance, and predictable administration, universal principle application, evolution of dharma. So transitional characteristic, God independent development, autonomous ethical order, and individual duty, self-preservation, and responsibility. Then the Purusharth framework, dharma, righteousness, conduct, earth, material prosperity, karma, legitimate desire, and moksha, spiritual revelation. Rin, debt obligation, inherent responsibility, social accountability, cosmic indebtedness. Type, rishi rin, debt to provider, knowledge provider, So Vedic studies and parallel continuous learn and skill upgradation. Pitra and center. So the Greek duty and uh, 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 social responsibility and family welfare. Then the Devarin, so divine social sacrifice offering and public service and national building. So Devarin is in the public service. Manusian in depth to fellow beings and social service obligation and community welfare responsibility, humanitarian assistance, administration, professional development, vision, work-life balance with and public service dedication, therein, and the citizen welfare, Manusian. Then the duty is the prescribed responsibility, the moral important emphasis, and personal growth facilitator, and spiritual expiation process. So strengthen relation to God, spiritual exploration process. Rama focus character demonstration and Maryada Prasadam character demonstration and responsibility dedication duty over the personal preference liberal administration model and 51A. So abide anthem symbol and the historical ideas. Babu historical ideas. C consolidation protect and D defend and E equality. F proud fort heritage. G green environment. H human. I for an I is violent. J genius scientific temper. K kids. Then the duty versus right. Duty creates corresponding right. Right create corresponding duty. Duty enables right realization. Mutual dependence and social contract basis. Conflict resolution duty proceed in the public service. Right without duty balancing individual collective interest and ethical decision making. Virtue of duty, focused character, responsibility, dedication, and moral dimension, personal integrity, and spiritual accountability. Prudence, DM, justice, fortitude, and temperance. So prudence, DM, fortitude in Conral and the temperance in the merchant. So then these are the cardinal virtue. So the duties which are the main. So good versus right distinction. Good deontological. So good is consequence focus, outcome evolution, utilitarian approach, and maximum benefit principle. Then right, so deontological, duty focused, and action evolution, categorical MP and command followed by R, and universal principle application. Aristotle, character based approach, practical wisdom, phenosis, and mean between the extreme, and habit formation emphasis. Then the modern application, so leadership development, ethical decision making, character assessment, and behavior assessment. Then the public versus private, so private, so family, loyalty, commitment, mutual respect, care and support, share the responsibility, conflict resolution, friendship, trust and honesty, mutual assistance, confidentiality, loyalty bound, and reciprocity principle. Then this professional relationship, competence, demonstration, fair dealing, and confidential maintenance, conflict of interest, avoid merit-based interaction, public impartiality and non-partisanship. Then the objectivity, maintenance, and public service dedication. Then the empathy, so and the compassion and transparency, accountability, intergovernmental, cooperative federalism, info sharing, and policy coordination, resource optimization, and conflict resolution. International relation, diplomatic protocol, treaty obligation, and humanitarian consideration, and global cooperation, and peace and promotion. Then the ethical dilemma and resolution. So dilemma, personal and versus public dilemma, and the individual versus collective dilemma, and short term versus long term, and legal versus moral, and loyalty versus conflict. Then the resolution, so ethical decision making, stakeholder analysis, consequence assessment, and principal application and consultation mechanism. Behavior attitude, context and structure, thought, behavior relation, behavior influence pattern, social influence, susceptibility, persuasion mechanism. Then the moral attitude, value based judgment, ethical standard adherence, and conscience driven decision. Then moral courage demonstration and integrity maintenance. Then the political attitude, constitutional commitment, democratic value support, and political neutrality. Then this conscience ethics, so outcome evaluation, greatest good principle, and stakeholder consideration, cost benefit analysis, and long term perspective. Then the philosophy for integrity measurement, constitutional in decision making, transparency in operation, accountability acceptance, and public trust level, and corruption perception index. Then the assessment methods of performance evaluation, 360 feedback, citizen satisfaction survey, audit finding analysis, and peer review process. Ethics of Bhagavad Gita, Dharma, essential governing principle, cultural life idea. Then the duty performance framework, righteous conduct guideline, karma yoga, detached action performance, and world welfare consideration, service santu niramya, and duty for duty sake, and without attachment, and action oriented approach. Then jnana yoga, wisdom based decision, truth seeking approach, and knowledge informed action, and eternal value. Then administrative value to mental attribute, so unignited mind, the Anuvigya Manas. Then the film mindless Pragya Pratushta. Pragya Pratushta. Then this intenseness. This intentions Ana Swakas. Then the policy and implementation focus and public interest prioritization. and professional conduct, competence demonstration, continuous learning, innovation promotion, and quality service delivery, and citizen-centric approach. Ethical conduct, standard honesty, and behavior challenge to corruption and rent seeking, and political pressure management, and media scrutiny handling, and technological adoption, and work-life balance. Mitigation strategies, so training and capacity building support, system creation, and monitoring mechanism, and reward and recognition, and ethical leadership promotion. Then the philosophical basis of integrity, so completeness and wholeness, consistency between value and action, and moral uprightness, character authenticity, and principle-based behavior, personal, professional, and institutional philosophical foundation, Kantian ethics, categorical imperative, universal moral law, duty for duty sake, duty-based approach, relationship decision making, respect for person, and action-oriented decision making, or action-oriented activities. Then the virtue ethics, so moral exemplar, so character excellence, practical wisdom, and habituation process, and role mate emulation. Then the anomaly maintenance and behavior, so duty, contempt, swakam, and pleasure, pain, independence, and friend enemy equality, and the honor disgrace balance, leadership synthesis, raja rishi combination, selfness cultivation, and senseless development, and personal scientist development, personal gain disgrade. Then the Adam, duty-based choice, detached evolution, stakeholder consideration, long-term perspective, ethical standard adherence, and conflict resolution, dharmatic principle, win-win solution for seeking, and justice, fairness, emphasis, and compassionate approach, suitable outcome focus, leadership, character building, moral courage, cultivation, service orientation, wisdom development, and spiritual grounding. Administration, policy formation, grounding, guidance, and implementation strategies, public service motivation, and ethical leadership development, institutional reform direction. Then the challenge, so modern context adaptation, secular interpretation, and universal principle extract, and practical application method, cultural sensitivity and maintenance. Then the Gandhian ethics, so talisman test, decision making framework, recall the poorest, will step benefit them, will it restore control over the destiny or life, will it lead to Swaraj on a hungry million? Ramraj principle, sovereignty for people, moral authority, and good governance foundation. Key values, Shakti foundation, Ahimsa, Sarvodaya, Swaraj, simple living, high thinking, and administration, transparent governance, aspiration, district program, and Niti Ayog monitoring system. Socrates, father of ethics, and question answer based approach, and Aristotle. So virtue ethics, prudence, fortitude, temperance, and justice, character based relationship, and habitual good and virtuous person. And Kant, categorical imperative, universal moral law. Mill utilitarian, and Bentham, qualitative utilitarian roles, justice theory, and fair distribution. EI, self awareness, self management, social awareness, and relationship management, a social skill. Then the administration application, so the constitutional provision, ethics, and Article 14, equity before law, Article 21, life and personal liberty, Article 51A, fundamental duty, Article 311, civil service prolongation. Then ethical decision making, problem identification, stakeholder analysis, option generation, ethical evolution, decision implementation, outcome assessment. Then contributing factor, internal factor, personal value, professional training, past experience, and emotional state. Then external factor like organization, culture, and legal framework, public pressure, and political environment. Case study, situational analysis, external mapping, ethical dilemma, option evolution, recommendation, and implementation strategies. Social justice, equality, fraternity, justice, and liberty. Central conduct of service rule. So absolute integrated maintenance, devolution to duty, devotion to duty, unbecoming conduct avoidance, and constitutional supremacy, and sovereignty, integrity, and high ethical standard, and political neutrality and impartiality. Then the merit, fairness, promotion, accountability, transparency, public responsiveness, challenge, data privacy protection, artificial intelligence in governance, social media regulation, and cybersecurity concern. Environment, intergeneration equity, zero balance, zero tolerance, strict action, deterrent punishment, and system reform, and cultural drive. So the difference between the good and virtue, so moral value, benefit, and right, where virtue is moral quality, excellence. So good is an outcome approach, and the right is a character trait disposition. Good is action consequence, virtue is the person and inner quality, and the good is external and virtue is internal. Then the Buddha. So karma is duty and righteousness, and dharma is action consequence. Then the Gautam Buddha. So Gautam Buddha, Four Noble Truth, Dukha, Samudaya, Nirodh, Magga, DSNM, Dukh, Samudaya, Nirodh, Magga, Marg, Ashtangik Marg, Dukh, Samudaya, Nirodh, and so there is a Dukh have a, and दुख का कारण तृष्णा है और इसको सिचुएशन से हटाया जा सकता है. So eightfold part, evil scam. So effort, view, and intention, and the scam, yes, S speech, concentration, action, and mindfulness. L is livelihood. Threefold karma: mental, verbal, and physical. Nirvana, liberation from cycle of rebirth. Chanakya, Arthashastra, Chanakya Niti principle, statecraft, Saptang theory. Then the ethical governance, Dandaniti, economic ethics, wealth creation is not equal to greed. Mahatma Gandhi, individual ethics, social reform, and political action. Vedanand, practical Vedant, service as worship. Universal realism, harmony of faith, harmonious social coexistence, and education, the main making education. Emmanuel Kant, 1724 to 1804. So categorical imperative act only on maxim, and universalizable for all, and duty ethics, and impartiality rule of law. Then the deontological would focus on duty greater than consequence, and the ethical formula. So, so ethical formula: action equal to universal law plus human dignity. So filial piety, putravati, filial piety, putravati, righteousness, harmony, administration, morality, and conflict is 5 contrast value: benevolence, righteousness, prosperity, propriety, wisdom, and integrity. Benevolence, paropkar, righteousness, and property, ochitya. John Stuart Mill, utilitarianism, greatest happiness principle, action judged by societal welfare. Life, liberty principle, harm principle as liberty limit. Right, welfare maximization. Then the middle path, so avoid extreme and personal societal normancy. Deontology, duty bound morality, legal framework. Satyagraha, non violent resistance, civil right. Utilitarianism, maximum utility, policy formulation. Then Eastern. So Eastern based on the dharma, where Western is right centered. Eastern is collective, Western is individual. Eastern is spiritual revelation, Western on secular humanism. Then relevance, policy integration, Gandhian ethics in Swachh Bharat, cleanliness, legal framework, Kantian deontology in human right character, global ethics, Buddhist mindfulness in conflict resolution. Then the Shankaracharya, Adatva, renunciation, Tyag, duty and detachment. Plato, justice, philosopher king, ideal state and utopia and good governance. John Stuart utilitarianism, liberty, right? John Rawls, justice as the fairness, will of ignorance. All things change. Now you make society without the external influence. National Mandela, reconciliation, equity, forgiveness, and inclusion government. Ethical concern, abuse of power, arbitrary decision, erode trust and injustice, corruption and bribery, and accepting gift, money, loss of integrity, and delay. Then indifference, ignorance, citizen grievance, poor service delivery, dilemma and challenges, rule compliance versus innovation, strict adherence versus innovation, and stagnant versus progress, stagnates versus progress, anonymity versus transparency, withholding information versus openness, truth deficit versus legal issue, the reading between the line or gray area. Professional duty versus personal volume, law versus personal relief, internal conflict dilemma, conflict between two options, dilemma, situation, conflicting value, analysis, decision, and accountability, and stakeholder in law or just fair legal. Then the ethics, so moral principle guiding behavior, morality, socially accepted behavior standard, integrity, consistency in value, action and principle, social justice, fair distribution of resource, opportunity, accountability, responsibility, answerability for action and decision, code of ethics, formalize rule of conduct in public service, ethical dilemma, situation with conflicting moral choice, humanitarian concern, action for human welfare. Then the ethical decision making, identify problem, gather fact, stakeholder analysis, consider rule and law, options, and choose best option, implement and review and feedback. Contributing to family, society. So social justice, so fair distribution of resources and opportunity, humanitarian concern, action for human welfare, accountability, responsibility, answerability for action and decision. Challenge in administration, regulatory complexity, multiplicity of status, frequent amendments, overlapping jurisdiction, and resource constraints, inadequate finance, human resource technique, and insufficient allocation, administration discretion, balancing flexibility with accountability, potential for arbitrary or inequitable experience of authority. Exercise of authority, procedural delay, prolonged adjudication, backlog of cases, coordination deficit and fragmented agency function, and communication gap, duplication of effort, and regulatory capture, and technological adaptation, and manage adverse and disparate impact on vulnerable section, and code of ethics, formalized section of rule for public service, providing clarity beyond legal compliance. Then the code of ethics, board, value, and guided, and the code of conduct, specific and detailed, associated and prohibited. So central service conduct rule, all India service conduct rule, draft public service bill, and INTOSAI standard and organization guidance. Here are some main topics. So attitude versus aptitude. Attitude is psychological and orientation, belief, emotion, and behavioral tendency. Aptitude is natural or ability and capacity to learning and skill acquisition. And attitude is subjective, influenced by values, experience, and societal norm. Aptitude is innate, developed, and denote potential for the task. Attitude is experience based. Aptitude is inherent. Attitude is dynamic and moldable, and aptitude is relatively stable. Attitude is ethical, and aptitude is effective. Then the component of attitude, cognitive, affective, and behavioral. Then the Paramatma and two self Atma. Then code of ethics, value, central trait, and aspiration. EQ versus IQ. EQ gets you hired, IQ gets you promoted. Then mechanism of emotion, emotion provoking event, physical response arousal, and cognitive appraisal, and subjective experience learning, benefit response, how we show or react to our feeling. Positive emotion, joy, happy, and pleasure. Negative is hatred and angry. Then emotion, self perception and self trait equal to path of the personality, path of individual personality. Then the this thing that matter, think then you can control what you should focus. Pay, power, and position. Success to some, but success to me is pay, power, position, peace, health, family, social, and happiness. Engagement. So effectiveness, equity, engagement, ethics, efficiency, and economy. Economy, efficiency, and efficiency and effectivity. Equity, engagement, and ethics. Then the ARC second. So ethics, ethos, and effective and equity. Holistic competence. Ethics, ethos, effective, and equity. Then the जो सेवतम model, citizen charter, grievance citizen mechanism, and excellence, thought, action, and emotion. Then the probity, transparency, accountability, and integrity and impartiality equal to good governance. Then there is skill and there is value. So skill without value is danger. Skill plus value is most beneficial. And skill, no value, fence sitter. High value, skill them. Then the triple bottom line, people, planet, and profit. People, planet, profit, and the UCC. So social realization and constitutional value. So uniform civil code. Then the mission and passion, and professional and vacation. So vocation. So ikigai. Mission, passion, professional, vocation. Mission, passion, profession, vocation, and ikigai. Then the government fund the administration, and administration service the citizen, and citizen give tax to the government. So social value decide the constitution. Constitution affect the governance. So honesty, then integrity, and the probity. Then the aptitude and integrity. So I can is attitude. I will the integrity, and I care the IQ. So the gap between the reward and performance. So reward is less, then the performance go down. Then the social, economical, and environment. Then this is sustainable development. Liberal plus ecological plus conservation is the environmental ethics. Then the environmental ethics. So anthropogenic and anthropocentric, non-anthropocentric. So anthropogenic is deontological. So contagion and relation. Then the non-centric. So the concentric and biocentric and holism. Then the role of family, like a staircase, family, early childhood, family, society. Then adolescence, education, and society. Then the adulthood, society, and family. Then the structure of aptitude. So this is normal. This is weak positive. This is strong positive. This is weak negative. This is strong negative. Behavioral become habit. Habit become attitude. Attitude derives the value. Value drive the character, and it becomes dense, tiny, destiny. Then the bureaucratic attitude and democratic attitude. Bureaucratic attitude, rules, regulation, SOP, procedure, and hierarchy. Democratic attitude, value, collaboration, inclusiveness, participation, and bottom up. Then the integrity versus efficiency. So efficiency or integrity. So without zero integrity, zero efficiency, it's useless. Zero integrity, efficiency, intelligence. But total integrity, total efficiency is ideal. Then the value. So peripheral value and core value. So peripheral value, universal, and assess culture. So peripheral value. So these are the differ across the culture and change. And core values are universal, assess culture, and change don't change. Value and obligation, law, government and economy, and ideal society. Aptitude and attitude. So aptitude is inborn genetic disposition and is in nature, but attitude is nurture. Environment, learned, and socialization. Political impartiality and non-partisanship equal to service neutrality. Then this value and belief, there is a knowledge. True. So truth, belief, there is a knowledge. Belief drive the value. So moral and ethical values. Belief, value, moral, and ethical value. Then value is drive the attitude, and attitude drive the behavior. Belief is two type, peripheral and core. So the core belief become values. Core belief plus emotion equal to values. Then universal value, social value, and individual value. And then intellectual, aptitude, emotion, and physical. Behavior, essence of ethics, behavior, choice, and action. And the situation factor and individual factor. So transparency and accountability lead to good governance. And subject object apathy, and subject plus object is empathy. Then the EQ person understand own emotion, understands others emotion, understand own and others emotion, then manage own and other emotion. So mind is IQ, and heart is emotional equal to EQ. Then Goldman. So self-realization, self-awareness, motivation, empathy, and social skill. self-regulation, self-awareness, regulation, motivation, mess, double S mess, MESS mess, गोलमैन मोटा आदमी था, बहुत ज्यादा खाना खाता था, मेस में MESS framework for ethical decision, identify issue, gather information, conduct, make, evaluate. Then the good ethical governance mean and social, economical development, welfare, ethics, law or morality, ethical standard, legal standard. Ethical standard should be above. Then the cardinal virtue, so wisdom, fortitude, and temperance, and the justice. Then the ethics, so public administration, philosophy, and psychology. Then the commitment, so the commitment plus perseverance equal to dedication. Then the constitutionality, so committed toward the constitution, so he is non-partial, and committed to the polity, so it is partisan. Prohibition, tolerance, and acceptance. Then the feeling, sympathy, empathy, and compassion. So the youth adoption curve, so the performance and arousal, and rational and emotion, wise mind is rational plus emotion, answerability plus enforceability equal to accountability, rules, regulation, act, law, constitution, corporate corporate environment responsibility, corporate governance, and corporate ethical responsibility equal to CSR. So management of ethics and ethical management. So perpetual virtue, conflict of interest, corporation versus private, corporate versus public, corporate versus public, private custom. Then the cities, so this is the holistic profit and the consequence, so it is become ethical. Corruption is downgrade and transparency increasing. Then quality is public service, so employability, citizen charter. Then redress the grievance redressal and proactive, so sumoto, information center, integrated. Monopoly plus discretion minus accountability equal to corruption.